Welcome to Fact a Day, where history's shadows reveal unexpected lights. Today, we delve into the Chernobyl disaster, not just as a catastrophic event, but as a catalyst for unexpected environmental renewal. This narrative weaves through the tragedy that struck on April 26, 1986, transforming it over decades into an unlikely sanctuary for wildlife, demonstrating nature's resilience. Chernobyl's story begins with the promise of nuclear energy, a promise of abundant power shadowed by the risks of atomic fission. The disaster at reactor number 4 highlighted the dangers of nuclear power, but the aftermath has unfolded a complex tale of ecological recovery. We explore how an area devastated by nuclear fallout became one of Europe's most unique wildlife refuges. Join us as we journey through the mechanics of nuclear reactors, the immediate human courage and tragedy, and the long-term ecological transformation. Chernobyl's legacy offers lessons on the balance between human technological ambition and the natural world's enduring strength, reminding us of nature's capacity to reclaim and thrive even in the most unlikely places. Understanding nuclear power and meltdowns. At the heart of a nuclear reactor, atomic nuclei split in a controlled chain reaction, releasing enormous energy used to generate electricity. This process, though efficient, carries the risk of a meltdown if the reactor core overheats and its nuclear fuel rods melt, potentially releasing radioactive materials into the environment. Chernobyl's reactor. Nowhere 4, with its flawed RBMK design, was particularly vulnerable to such a catastrophe. The potential damage from a reactor meltdown is catastrophic, not only in immediate human casualties, but also in long-term environmental and economic impacts. When the core of a nuclear reactor melts, radioactive materials can be released into the atmosphere, water, and soil, leading to widespread contamination. The Chernobyl disaster exemplified this, with fallout spreading over much of Europe, contaminating land and food sources. The immediate vicinity became uninhabitable, creating an exclusion zone that displaced thousands of people from their homes. The health effects were profound and enduring, with increased rates of thyroid cancer, leukemia, and other illnesses among those exposed to radiation. Economically, the cleanup and containment efforts, along with compensation for affected individuals and lost agricultural productivity, cost billions of dollars. The social and psychological toll on evacuees, many of whom could never return to their ancestral homes, further compounded the disaster's impact. The design of Chernobyl's RBMK reactors allowed for a positive void coefficient, meaning that an increase in steam production could lead to an increase in reactor power. This design flaw, coupled with a lack of containment structures found in Western reactors, made the consequences of a meltdown potentially more disastrous. On the night of the disaster, these risks turned into reality. During the ill-fated safety test, operators removed too many control rods in an attempt to maintain power, violating safety protocols. The resulting power surge and the explosion that followed exposed the reactor core, igniting a graphite fire and releasing a plume of radioactive isotopes into the atmosphere, a nightmare scenario that would have lasting effects on human health and the environment. The Chernobyl disaster, a timeline of tragedy. The disaster unfolded in the early hours as operators attempted a safety test on reactor node 4. The test, aimed at determining how long turbines would spin and supply power to the main cooling pumps in the event of a loss of power, went catastrophically wrong. A series of explosions rocked the reactor, exposing the core and releasing radioactive material into the night sky. Preventing a nuclear reactor meltdown requires a multifaceted approach, combining robust engineering, rigorous safety protocols, and continuous training for plant personnel. Modern reactors are designed with passive safety systems that can operate without human intervention or external power, significantly reducing the risk of a meltdown. These include advanced cooling systems that can manage excess heat even in the event of a power outage, and containment structures capable of withstanding extreme conditions. Stringent regulatory oversight ensures that nuclear plants adhere to safety standards and undergo regular inspections and maintenance. Additionally, fostering a safety culture among plant operators and workers, where concerns can be raised without fear of retribution, is crucial. Implementing lessons learned from past incidents, like Chernobyl and Fukushima, continues to be vital in refining safety measures and emergency response strategies. In the immediate aftermath, the Soviet government's response was slow and secretive, exacerbating the disaster's effects. Firefighters, unaware of the radiation's dangers, were sent in without adequate protection. Plant workers and engineers, including Alexander Akimov and Leonid Toptunov, fought to contain the meltdown, exposing themselves to deadly levels of radiation. Their heroism in the face of an invisible enemy marked the first in a series of sacrifices made during the disaster. In the days and months following the Chernobyl meltdown, Soviet authorities mobilized a massive response to contain the disaster and mitigate its effects. Initially, efforts focused on extinguishing the fires and stopping the release of radioactive materials. This included dropping sand, lead, clay, and boron from helicopters onto the burning reactor to smother the flames and absorb radiation. The most critical and daunting task was the construction of the sarcophagus, a massive steel and concrete structure built to enclose the damaged reactor and contain the radioactive materials. Undertaken in extremely hazardous conditions, the construction of the sarcophagus was a race against time, completed in just over 6 months, a testament to the workers' bravery and determination. Simultaneously, decontamination efforts were underway, including the removal of topsoil, the washing of buildings, and the creation of the exclusion zone to limit public exposure to radiation. To address the long-term health impacts, the Soviet government established monitoring and treatment programs for those affected by radiation. Despite initial secrecy, the scale of the disaster compelled Soviet officials to seek international assistance, leading to greater openness and cooperation in nuclear safety worldwide. The Chernobyl disaster prompted significant changes in nuclear policy and safety protocols, not just in the Soviet Union but globally, as the nuclear community sought to ensure that such a tragedy would never be repeated. The evacuation of Pripyat, the nearest town, did not begin until 36 hours after the explosion, exposing thousands of residents to dangerous levels of radiation. The delayed response, coupled with the spread of radioactive fallout across Europe, revealed the scale of the disaster. The Chernobyl accident not only exposed the shortcomings of the Soviet nuclear industry, but also ignited a global re-evaluation of nuclear safety and emergency preparedness. The human and environmental toll. The Chernobyl disaster's immediate toll was devastating, with dozens dying from acute radiation sickness in the weeks following the explosion. However, the long-term health effects, including increased cancer rates among the exposed populations, would extend the tragedy for decades. The environmental impact was equally severe, with vast areas of Ukraine, Belarus, and beyond contaminated with radioactive fallout, rendering them uninhabitable and leading to the creation of the Chernobyl exclusion zone. Within this zone, the abandoned city of Pripyat stands as a haunting reminder of the disaster's human cost. Once a vibrant community of nearly 50,000 people, it's now a ghost town, with personal belongings and Soviet-era propaganda still adorning the empty buildings. The exclusion zone, a roughly 2,600 square kilometer area surrounding the reactor, encapsulates the disaster's vast environmental and human toll. Yet, in this desolation, an unexpected story of ecological resilience emerged. The absence of humans led to an increase in wildlife populations, with species previously on the brink of extinction in the area, such as the European bison and Przewalski's horse, making a comeback. This unintended experiment in rewilding offers a glimpse into how ecosystems can recover in the absence of human disturbance, providing valuable insights into conservation and the complex relationship between humans and nature. The Chernobyl disaster, while a stark reminder of the dangers of nuclear power when mismanaged, also tells a story of hope and unexpected ecological recovery. The transformation of the exclusion zone into a haven for wildlife underscores nature's ability to heal and adapt, offering lessons on environmental resilience and the potential for rebirth in the face of devastation. As we reflect on Chernobyl's legacy, we're reminded of the need for responsible technological advancement and the importance of respecting and protecting the natural world. The disaster's dual narrative of human tragedy and ecological recovery encourages us to seek a harmonious balance between our ambitions and the health of our planet. Thank you for joining us on Fact Today. Today's episode has taken us from the depths of human tragedy to the heights of ecological resilience, illustrating the complex tapestry of life's ability to endure and flourish. For more stories that inspire, inform, and challenge, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, keep exploring the world with curiosity and compassion.